Hello all and welcome to another Dan's Big Tech. Today we're looking at the DZ09 Bluetooth Smart Watch. This watch goes from £10 to £15 on Amazon. I got mine for just under £12, so it's quite clear we're looking at a very budget offering. Starting with the box, the smartwatch comes packaged in a very modern style box, kind of thing you might see a smartphone being sold in, only shorter. In the box is the watch itself, a USB charging cable and a folded instruction leaflet. Taking a closer look at the watch, we can see it has a high-tech design which is somewhat pleasing to the eye, and if you don't like gold, the watch is available in silver and black. The strap is made up of a kind of soft plastic. It's been textured to give it that more leathery premium feel, but I don't think it's fooling anyone. The body of the watch is a hard brown plastic with a metallic front plate. It doesn't feel like the most premium of builds, but it could probably fool someone at first glance from far away. When booting up the watch, the first thing I noticed was this tiny stuck pixel near the top of the screen. Not enough to hinder use of the watch, but disappointing nonetheless. Stuck pixel aside, the watch hosts a simple OS that, aside from the basic watch faces, hosts a number of features. More on those in a minute. The screen is sharp, bright and visible inside and outside, without much issue. It may appear a little bit dim in direct sunlight. For watch faces, I had a choice of 3, yes, count them, 3 different watch faces, which surprisingly don't match the watch face shown on most of the images provided by places selling the watch. Turns out this model of watch is sold with various variations of firmware loaded on them, and apparently it can be potluck as to which firmware and watch faces you get. Speaking of the firmware, this is the internal software that generally runs the watch and decides what applications come with the watch, and this can't be changed very easily without the risk of rendering the device permanently unusable. Aside from its selection of applications, the watch can be paired with a phone to function as a sort of Bluetooth headset, although you'll want to go to your phone's Bluetooth settings and tweak what you want the watch to play out. To get more functionality from the watch, you can install an app on your phone that'll send messages and prompts from the phone to appear on the watch's screen. The manual recommends an app called BT Notifier from the Google Play Store, but I was unable to get that to work, and there are some reports suggesting the software is slightly dubious. Instead, I found a similar app called Smartwear from the Play Store that appears to work just fine, but as a word of advice, you'll want to disable the system UI prompts from the application menu, as the phone will send many of these, and when you plug it in to charge, the phone will give you every single percentage of power to your watch, 1% charge, 2% charge, etc, etc, so turn them off. This watch comes with a selection of applications. Alarm lets you set up to 5 alarms with one of 5 ringtones, seems to work just fine. Calendar, a simple calendar app. I wasn't able to do anything with the calendar other than look at the months of the year, but it's a calendar. Pedometer, marked as pedo on the menu. When trying this, I found it wouldn't always want to work, and when it did, it seemed inconsistent with the amount of steps taken. Bluetooth dialer, which lets you manage the Bluetooth devices that you've connected the watch to. So in this way you could use the watch to play out to a Bluetooth speaker, for example. Sleep monitor, not too clear on what this does, but by wearing the watch while I slept, I learned that the watch is comfortable enough to sleep in, and that I had had a general night's sleep. Reminder, a little app that reminds you to get up and move around every so often. These next apps require a phone to be connected to the watch by Bluetooth. A phone finder called Anti-Lost that'll locate your phone. However, when I tried it, it couldn't locate my phone. Bluetooth music, which lets you play music from the phone via the watch. Remote Notifier, an app for checking previous messages and prompts that your phone has displayed. Next, the following apps require an SD card to be inserted into the watch, which you'll have to buy separately. Sound recorder. Not too bad if you need to take audio notes of things. Here's how it sounds.
Notice you can hear. Sterling quality.
Aside from that, we've got the photo camera, which is where the Amazon seller has misled me a little bit here. While they've described the watch as a 2.0 megapixel camera, it's actually a 0.3 megapixel camera, which could be used for taking tiny 240 by 240 pixel images. Here's a lovely sample. Audio player, a very simple sound player. You can play back the sounds you've recorded or even music you've loaded onto the device, which you can do via Bluetooth from a phone or by USB from your computer. Finally, there are a few more applications the watch has to offer. However, these will only work with a SIM card installed into the watch. For you see, this isn't actually a smart watch, it's a feature phone in the form of a watch. As inside the watch, besides the removable battery, there are slots for both a SIM card and an SD card. I didn't have a spare SIM card on hand, but having one in there would allow you to make phone calls directly from the watch, as well as send text. Aside from using the watch directly as a phone, you can use the watch's Facebook chat, Twitter, WhatsApp, and web browser apps, which unfortunately just showed please insert valid SIM card without one inserted. Although you can try typing in a text message, which proved quite the experience with how the phone would tend to intermittently freeze, briefly stop responding to touch, or jerk back awkwardly when trying to use the touchscreen. Now both the instruction manual and the online store both mention a video player and video recording application. However, this was nowhere to be found, making this yet another incorrect piece of information the online seller provided. The seller suggests you can get as much as a week from the battery when leaving the watch on standby, which seems pretty optimistic, as I found that the watch, with very little light usage, would generally last about 2.5 days on a single charge. Let's take a look at some of the pros and cons. So for the pros, it's very affordable, can be bought for as low as £10, and it's even possible to get it with free shipping. It's a comfortable fit, so comfortable you can sleep in it. It's a phone. With a SIM card, it can be used as a fully fledged feature phone. Looks pretty high tech. When the device works, it can be fun to use, and the display can look really nice. Reasonable battery time. While lower than the specs suggest, this could be used as a functional watch for 2.5 days, which is longer than some other high-end devices. So, moving on to the cons. Poor build quality. Things like the battery not sitting very flush, or the USB port cover being of a very poor quality, suggest this device isn't going to last terribly long. Prone to crashes and freezes. You'll likely run into these often, although they aren't quite so bad that you can't get used to them. Blank standby screen. Not being able to glance at the time whenever you want, like a normal watch, takes some getting used to. Requiring a button press every time to see the time means that it's basically a two-handed function, because you're going to have to lift one arm and reach over with the other arm. Not easily upgradable. Applying changes to the device, like installing new clock faces or replacing the firmware, is a difficult process that could result in features no longer working, the camera breaking, or the watch failing to work entirely. So how satisfied am I with this watch, the DZ09? Well, costing less than some takeaway dinners, it's easy to replace if it breaks down or gets lost. while not the highest build quality, and not really being a true smartwatch, but with its fixed set of applications, it could still be a great first phone for children, and they can't drop it or forget it as it's attached to their arm. Or perhaps you can use it to broadcast your phone into an area that your signal just can't quite reach via the Bluetooth. All that being said, I give the DZ09 smartwatch, middle of the road, 5 out of 10. It's got a lot of problems, but its low price point makes up for them. And really, it's not too bad a thing. It's very cheap. Try one out if you're interested, but don't expect too much from it. That was Dan's Big Tech, and this is goodbye for now.